Yasmin, thanks. Well, Congress took it down to the deadline, and the markets took a plunge. First, there was the last-minute deal on the debt ceiling, then the downgrading of America's credit rating, and now the roller coaster ride on Wall Street, and a lot of economic repercussions, and our congressional leaders right at the center of it. Joining us this morning to talk about this and some other issues is Congresswoman Mazie Hirono of the 2nd Congressional District. Good morning. Good to have you with us.
Good to be home.
So Wall Street taking a tumble. We've got some economists believing that the Democrats and the Republicans are partially to blame for this, for the last-minute debt deal. What do you say to those Americans and some of your constituents who are saying, look, we have no faith in Congress anymore?
I share their frustration because I was there when we were doing this lifting of the debt ceiling, which should have happened without the country being taken hostage, literally, and to the brink of going over the cliff. And if we had not raised the debt ceiling, what's happened in the stock market, I think, would be just more of that. And so we had to do what was right for our country, and I'm glad that at the end we came together with a compromise, which is what President Obama continued to push for, even as Republican leaders were walking out of these talks. So something that should have been dealt with, and allowing us, therefore, to refocus on what we need to be focused on, which is let's create jobs for the people in this country. I heard from hundreds of people in Hawaii who say, get the job done, raise the debt ceiling, focus on creating jobs. Do not resolve this situation on the backs of the seniors, middle class, working people. It has to be fair.
Yesterday, all eyes were on the stock market as it took a huge plunge yet again. Another thing that was discussed, President Obama addressed the nation, and he also announced that the waivers for the state school systems would be granted, essentially gutting what was known as the Bush No Child Left Behind law. As a member of the House Education Committee, where do you stand on this? Was it a good idea, and why?
I support the president's move because it doesn't gut No Child Left Behind, but there's some real punitive aspects to that law that we should have amended and changed. So what we need to be focusing on, and which these waivers will allow the states that apply and get these waivers, they can focus on closing the achievement gap, which is what's supposed to be happening. So as we move forward, I'd like to see the kind of changes to No Child Left Behind that makes sense, that provides more flexibility for our schools. And since we're talking about education, I want to let you know that I introduced a bill just a couple of days ago that really brings to the fore considerations of the importance of quality early education in closing the achievement gap for all of our kids. And without costing any more money, by the way.
Right. And, you know, looking forward to 2012, we know that you will be running for U.S. Senate.
Yes.
Democratic candidate Ed Case made headlines recently, but he was also criticized by the Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee for releasing a poll that shows that you would trail former Governor Linda Lingle. What was your reaction when you saw that?
My reaction is I'm going to continue to do my job representing the 2nd Congressional District, and the polls are early. We're going to see a lot more polls, but, you know, if there are legitimate concerns about the accuracy of a poll, that's going to come out. But I'm just going to be concentrating on doing my job, representing the people, and getting my message across as I campaign. Good thing there are 24 hours in the day.
Not enough time, though.
And, you know, I'm focusing on jobs and supporting the middle class and having tax policies that don't reward the richest people in our country and the richest corporations in our country in an unfair way.
Congresswoman Hirono, welcome back to Hawaii.
Thank you so
after
much.
A long day or
Yes.
a long couple months in Washington, D.C. And, of course, tomorrow morning we'll have fellow Senate candidate Ed Case on our newscast with his take on the economy and Congress. And don't forget, you can see this interview again with Representative Hirono, again, by heading over to the morning section of our website at kitv.com/thismorning. It is 6:48.